1960s, Great Britain nuked the United States not once but twice.
Hey guys!
Welcome back again to the channel. Today I'm joined with my
Family!
and we are super excited to be checking out this video. Please consider liking and subscribe to the channel. So let's get right into today's
reaction. Yeah. When Britain nuked America twice. Why? What happened? And which year is this?
What year did that happen? Because we've never recorded any history with America
like
Britain in
any
combat.
war.
Or...
Why were they fighting?
Okay, there's a lot of questions right now. Well, let's just dive in.
I hope this video starts.
In the 1960s, Great Britain nuked the United States not once but twice.
And not just any kind of normal nuking.
Fortunately for all concerned, the attacks were only training exercises, but so embarrassing were these attacks that they were hidden from the American public for about 50 years, as well as being strenuously denied to the American press for decades. As far as America was concerned, its defenses were 99% effective, but in simulated attacks, Royal Air Force bombers managed to penetrate US airspace to launch nuclear attacks on New York City and several other important urban centers. Before I tell you how, a word from our sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Curiosity Stream, a subscription streaming service created by the founder of the Discovery Channel that offers thousands of documentaries, study of Hitler's movements from childhood to the end of his life by Allied and Axis troops from helmets to bunkers. Get unlimited access to Felton and use the promo code MarkFelton during the sign-up process. Curiosity Stream, the best streaming service for lovers of history. How did the British manage to penetrate the world's most heavily defended airspace?
Exactly, that's my question.
Is surprisingly simple and consists of two words: Avro-Vulcan.
What's that? Avro-Vulcan. Look at that B-12 bomber kind of aircraft.
Yes.
The Vulcan first flew in 1952. The team that created it, led by Roy Chadwick, who had designed the famous Lancaster heavy bomber of World War II. A jet-powered, tailless, delta-wing, high-altitude strategic bomber, the Vulcan was the backbone of Britain's nuclear airborne deterrent during most of the Cold War, serving from 1956 until retirement in 1984. This is the story of Exercise Sky Shield, when Britain nuked its closest ally, exposing how the Soviet Union could have done the same for real. In 1960, the United States decided to run the largest test of its air defenses in history. Exercise Sky Shield 1 occurred on the 10th of September 1960, and all commercial air traffic over the US and Canada was grounded, amounting to 1,000 US commercial flights and 700 general aviation aircraft, plus a further 31 foreign flights due to land in North America. The US Strategic Air Command would launch B-52 Stratofortresses and B-47 Stratojets to simulate a massive Soviet nuclear bomber force approaching North America from north and south. 360 US interceptor aircraft stood ready to defeat these enemy aircraft, which numbered 310. Among those 310 aircraft were 8 Royal Air Force Vulcan B-2 nuclear bombers. A flight of 4 flew from Scotland, while the other 4 launched from the British territory of Bermuda in the Atlantic Ocean. The American plan was to detect these enemy bombers by radar and other early warning systems. Then they would be intercepted and destroyed in simulated attacks by US jet fighters and missile batteries. The attacking bombers split their attacks between high and low altitude. The defending fighters did very well against the Stratojets and Stratofortresses, intercepting many of them, but the Vulcans proved more elusive opponents. The Vulcan flew at the highest altitude of the simulated Soviet bombers, cruising at 56,000 feet.
Oh wow.
One was successfully intercepted at this altitude over Goose Bay, Labrador, by a United States Air
So they
Force
think
F-101.
this aircraft got up to 56,000
6,000
feet.
feet, yes.
I think commercial aircraft usually go up to 30,000 feet, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
How do they know where they are going to?
That's why they are pilots.
Because I can
And
just
in
see
this
only clouds here.
No, they have radar.
radar, yeah. And in
But-
this case, they're not just pilots, they are soldiers, naval system. So I think the training is more broad than normal
The commercial training. Because the first time we first entered the plane together, right? The only thing I could see was just clouds and sunsets.
Yeah.
So how do one know if I shift right, I'm going to Canada?
They actually,
If I shift left, I'm going to Dubai.
they actually look on the location, and to them, there seems like a kind of just like a flying,
Dotted line.
yeah, dotted line that you keep following. So that's the road they follow to in the clouds, though. Yeah.
But how did they come up with the idea?
Exactly. No landmark on the sky. There is no landmark on the sky. It's just clouds.
Pilots.
Blue sky, you turn left.
Exactly.
So pilots, there are a lot of landmarks
You understand?
there.
Wow.
And you know the way, okay, actually, I would say the navigational system is way more upgraded than the one we have.
Yeah.
But if I'm talking about the one we have, sometimes they will tell you turn left, and left is a no man's road. Do you understand? So if it is that kind of navigation, I guess it might not work. I think that's where I'm kind of like looking at this whole radar thing from. So sorry about that. Let's continue, please.
Voodoo, but the other 7 Vulcans all managed to penetrate American airspace to launch simulated bombing attacks on US cities. They then turned around and landed at Stephenville, Newfoundland. The question was, how had the Vulcan managed it? The answer was their highly advanced electronic countermeasures systems and the Vulcan's amazing maneuverability.
Wow.
For example, the flight of 4 aircraft that approached from Bermuda were successful because 3 of them put up a wall of electronic interference that prevented interception, while the 4th Vulcan carried out a simulated nuclear strike. This was all rather embarrassing for Strategic Air Command, which quickly buried all stories about British bombers having nuked US targets and confidently assured the American public.
But actually, one thing about, I feel like the Britain, their RAF is actually very advanced, because for them to be able to penetrate through the skies, and the United States at the moment, they were testing their airspace, so they actually invited those, and this particular the Valga was still able to penetrate through it. Do you get?
Yeah.
That's a lot. Their RAF squad is.
That is why the last time we watched something about the US and the Britain, I said something. No matter what, the RAF, they're impressive. I've seen them actually stood beyond impossible odds, and they came out on top.
Yeah.
Yes, they might have been bruised, but they will still win the battle. So, in my own understanding, I want to know what kind of training do the RAF go through.
And their machineries as well.
Do you understand? I need to. It's not even about the aircraft.
To be detected at the moment, like.
I'm not talking about it. The aircraft, right, might be impressive and all, but it depends on who is driving it. Do you understand? In as much as any aircraft is advanced, if you don't drive it properly, you will crash land it. You will get detected. So I think I need to know the kind of training the RAF personnel receive. Because for me currently, I think they are the best air-to-air fighter jets planner. I don't know how they normally call that thing. They're impressive.
That US air defenses were, as I said, 99% effective. However, the following year, the Americans invited the RAF to take part in exercise Sky Shield 2. Perhaps the US AF was determined to show that the Vulcan's previous success was only a fluke, a one-time only event. Sky Shield 2, which occurred on the 14th of August 1961, was an even bigger event than the first one. It caused 2,900 US and Canadian flights to be grounded, affecting 125,000 commercial passengers.
Wow.
During the exercise, 125 US and British bombers would be pitted against 1,800 fighters and 250 missile sites, and over 200,000 Air Force personnel from the US and Canada.
Coming up on 16.5 seconds. Now, continuing. Yeah, but I'm still ready. Ready. Now. Brakes apart here. Come up. 6 up.
This man is heat.
Yeah.
Again, 8 Vulcan B-2s participated, split again into 2 flights. One attacking on the northern route from RAF Lossiemouth in Scotland via Canada, and the other 4 aircraft on a southerly route from Kindley Air Force Base, Bermuda. The B-47 Stratojets simulated low-level Soviet bombers. The B-52s would attack between 35,000 and 42,000 feet, while the Vulcans again operated at the highest altitude, 56,000 feet.
Again. Wow.
At the massive NORAD, or North American Air
the other
Defense
aircraft is
bunker
just a
at
distraction.
Colorado Springs, the US top
main
brass was
stuff
joined
to
by
go
the
in.
RAF's Air Marshal Sir Kenneth Cross of Bomber Command and Sir Wallace Kyle, Chief of the RAF Technical Training Command, to monitor the exercise. Just before 2 p.m., US interceptors pounced on the B-52s, approaching at the mid to high altitude level. The Vulcans also came in from the north, and again, due to the Vulcans' high-tech jamming equipment, only one was shot down by an F-101 Voodoo fighter. In fact, large numbers of US fighters were scrambled, but they concentrated almost exclusively on the B-52s. When the Vulcans came over, the interceptors did not have sufficient fuel remaining to climb.
Wait, sorry, I want to get
56,000
something. Sorry for the pause. He said the
Shut
the
down
aircraft
one
was
of the
shot
big-
down. Yeah.
Like,
I thought it was like a military exercise.
Yes.
So they're actually shooting themselves.
is it like a literal shutdown? Like somebody was driving and the person died, kind of.
The fact they will fly out to the parachute and land safely, but the aircraft.
But that
How sure are you that the
Please
person
help
was,
us down below. We really want to clarify that.
because I don't think it was a war. I think it's an exercise.
Yeah, it's
so
an exercise.
it shouldn't be that fatal.
And resources though, they're shooting at the aircraft.
Or the shoots down they mean is like
Like,
just making a
we saw you coming and we can actually bring it down like that.
yes.
No,
Maybe the
yeah.
shooting was like a color
spotted.
splash on
Yeah.
the spot.
And when once you're spotted, you can be brought down.
Yeah.
Or maybe they fill the guns with paint.
Yeah.
You know, once
Just
the paint
color
hits
is
you,
that.
you have been tagged.
1,000 feet plus and engage them. The surviving 3 Vulcans conducted their attacks successfully, turned around and landed at Stephenville, Newfoundland. The southern attack force of 4 Vulcans from Bermuda reached a position 50 miles off the US coast before fighters were scrambled to intercept. Again, 3 of the Vulcans unleashed an
Vulcans.
electronic jamming screen that kept the attacking F-102 Delta daggers busy, while the 4th aircraft crept round to the north and sneaked through. This Vulcan proceeded to land at Plattsburgh Air Force Base in New York. If this had been a real attack, New York City could have been reduced to a smoking, irradiated hole in the ground.
So this is the second time they're actually proven to the US that their shield is not as protective as they think.
Yeah. Well, I
Many
don't-
of the Stratojets and Stratofortresses had also managed to evade interception and launched simulated nuclear attacks, but not at the kind of success rate that the Vulcans enjoyed. In 2 massive exercises of 8 Vulcans that attacked on each occasion, 7 had got through to their targets, an astounding survival rate against the huge might of the US air defenses. The Vulcans showed that with the right aircraft, America could be laid wide open to a nation-ending assault. something which the Soviet Union would have been very interested in.
Why are they bringing the Soviet
Fortunately for
Union
all
into it?
concerned, the relationship between Britain and the United States never changed from special to decidedly antagonistic, and the Vulcans never came in anger. The American government also tried to make damn sure that nobody ever found out about the Vulcans nuking American cities. The US Air Force was very quick to deny rumors that RAF planes had once again successfully penetrated US airspace. In fact, the US government went so far as to classify all references to Vulcans included in the Sky Shield exercises. After all, if the RAF could practice nuke New York City, Washington, D.C., and even Chicago, the Soviets could do the same, if they could develop an aircraft as good as the Vulcan. As far as Strategic Air Command was concerned, the Vulcan episodes had never happened, and the US was well protected, and that protection, as I said, 99% effective. The Vulcans' successful attacks on America were only fully declassified in 1997, long after the Vulcan had left British service.
Oh.
Why did he leave?
Many thanks for watching. Please
Oh, so
subscribe,
why would
share,
the
and also
Vulcan,
visit
As
my
powerful
audiobook
as powerful
channel,
as it is,
War Stories with Mark Felton.
leave? I don't think he should have left. Rather, they should have improved
On it,
on
and make
it,
it more better and
more
efficient
dangerous,
than it is. Because for a certain aircraft to be able to
penetrate and
penetrate
air
the air,
defense.
the air defense, I know it was actually an exercise process. So you know, okay, this air defense is actually very tight at the moment.
Yeah.
Do you get? So everybody is on the system, but it was still able to penetrate. Just imagine nobody being like, I know obviously
Yeah.
people are always active,
Yeah.
but the full consciousness of the activity that day was really over the roof. So just imagine it's just a normal day. Wow.
That's crazy. And please, you guys should get back the Vulcan.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous species of aircraft.
This is the first time we're hearing about
Yeah.
it.
You should never have to retire from service.
Yeah.
You should rather be upgraded and done what and retrofitted to actually fit the modern age technology. You understand? Because this is the only aircraft that I think I've ever had that can actually emit electronic impulse, which is EMT, to disrupt radar interference. That is why it becomes very hard to track them on radar. So I don't think this aircraft should have actually retired. I think it should have improved
More.
That's my thoughts though. But tell us why the aircraft was actually retired. And thank God this was just an exercise.
So when we saw when Britain nuke America, we were thinking like it's a head-to-head fight.
But I don't think that's paint, like I said before. Because they use the word nuked, which means they must have used live ammunition.
To which states have you heard in America that has been nuked? If the place is nuked, you see the.
No, they might have nuked places without casualty and civilians and stuff like that.
We don't know. We can't tell.
Please
Down
give
below.
us a full detail on what actually went on.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please do not forget to like, subscribe to the channel. We love you guys and bye.